pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have a cell phone with you, it has to be turned to off. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Magistrate Likens.
Here.
Magistrate Tice.
Here.
Magistrate Leslie.
Here.
Magistrate Greenwell.
Here.
Magistrate Hounds.
Here.
Magistrate Eldridge.
Here.
Magistrate Dye. Magistrate Logsdon. Judge Vogel.
Here. Having all members of the fiscal court present, this meeting is now in session. Is there a motion to accept the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Magistrate Greenwell.
Judge, we'd like to add awarding of the salt bids on there somewhere.
All right, we'll add that down under item H, the next item under that contract agreements and resolutions. I also have an agreement here signed with the Administrative Office of the Courts. Put that on under the salt bids.
That would be I and J.
Well, it would be if they're, I guess it'd be 4 and 5. I and J are already on here, but we'll just have to give them H subsection on there, subsection.
Okay.
As you want.
Steve, did you need to add something else to the road department also?
I was going to do that under other business, but Joy, I guess we need to go ahead and add Railroad Avenue funding.
Put that on there as well. And Magistrate, the same thing. Magistrate Leslie.
Yes, I have two requests to use the courthouse lawn. Would you like that under other business?
Yes, sir.
That's good.
All right, is there anyone else? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Now we'll ask our clerk, Sheila Fair, to please read the minutes from our last meeting, which was on April 8th.
April 18th, 2017. The Oldham County Fiscal Court convened at a regular meeting at 2 p.m. with Judge Executive David Vogel, County Attorney John Carter, and the following magistrates in attendance: Brent Likens, Wayne Tice, Bob Leslie, Steve Greenwell, Chris Hounds, Kevin Eldridge, Bob Dye, and Michael Logsdon. Motion made by Magistrate Leslie and seconded by Magistrate Logsdon to approve the agenda as submitted, removing item F, Commerce Parkway Corridor Study, RFP, and adding Parks Committee recommendation under other business. Motion carried unanimously. The meeting minutes of April 4th were read aloud and approved on a 7-0-2 vote. Magistrates Hounds and Likens abstained. Public comment. John Nichols of Crystal Drive, LaGrange, spoke to the court regarding concerns relating to several issues, including fire departments, county hiring procedures, volunteers, and term limits. Kathy Miller made a statement regarding enforcement of the nuisance ordinance. Tri-County Community Action Agency presentation. Joan Miles and Stephanie Sharp, Substance Abuse Program personnel with Tri-County Community Action Agency, presented information relating to its Compass Substance Abuse Program activities and responded to questions from the court. Bid opening for road salt. The following sealed bids for road salt were opened, read aloud for the record, and will be forwarded to the Road Committee for review and recommendation. Cargill, $83.18 a ton. Compass Materials, $81.95 a ton. Detroit Salt, $81.49 a ton. Jetstream Fuels, $86.78 a ton. Morning Star, $79.35 a ton, and Morton Salt, $84.24 a ton. County Administration Payables. Motion made by Magistrate Logsdon and seconded by Magistrate Leslie to approve the payables as presented. Motion carried 8-1. Magistrate Greenwell voted no. Budget transfers. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Eldridge to approve the budget transfers as presented. Motion carried unanimously. Community business. First reading, budget amendment for fiscal year 16-17. Melissa Horn presented for a first reading proposed ordinance number KOC 17-200-376, amending the existing Oldham County budget for fiscal year 2016-17 to include unbudgeted receipts from insurance premium tax, insurance reimbursement, federal inmates, and jail contracts with other counties, increasing the receipts of general fund by $583,741.98 and increasing expenditure accounts by $583,741.98. The second reading public hearing is scheduled for May 16th. First reading for the zoning map amendment for 4800 block of Sadler Mill Road in Buckner. Community planner Brooke Veman presented for first reading proposed ordinance number KOC 17-920-372 relating to a change in the Oldham County zoning map, rezoning a 2.18 acre tract located at the 4800 block of Sadler Mill Road, Buckner, from the existing R2A residential zoning classification to R4 residential zoning classification as presented. The second reading will be May 16th. Committee reports and recommendations. Human Resource Committee, Engineering Technician Job Description. Motion made by Magistrate Logsdon and seconded by Magistrate Leslie to approve the Engineering Technician Job Description. Motion carried unanimously. Human Resource Committee, addition to adopted employee pay scale. Motion made by Magistrate Logsdon and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to approve the addition to the adopted employee pay scale. Motion carried unanimously. Personnel, dispatch. Motion made by Magistrate Leslie and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to terminate Amy Adams effective April 12th, 2017. Motion carried unanimously. Road Department. Motion made by Magistrate Hounds and seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to promote Adam Morgan to Road Construction Maintenance Foreman at $20.36 an hour effective April 19th, 2017. Motion carried unanimously. Second public comment, none. Other business. Motion made by Magistrate Leslie and seconded by Magistrate Eldridge to authorize LaGrange Baptist Church use of the courthouse lawn on Wednesday, June 21st from 6 to 8 p.m. for Family Fun Night with a rain date of June 22nd. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Leslie and seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to authorize the Oldham County Ministerial Association use of the gazebo area at the Courthouse Square on May 4th for its annual National Day of Prayer service at noon. Motion carried unanimously. Announcements. Magistrate Greenwell thanked county staff for their continuous hard work and dedication. Magistrate Hounds announced a burn ban is in effect now and that people should be mindful. Magistrate Logsdon remarked on the significance of the national anthem and Pledge of Allegiance. Judge Vogel stated the spring-summer issue of What's Happening in Oldham County should be arriving in Oldham County residents' mailboxes this week. The publication has information about services and events throughout the county. Motion made by Magistrate Hounds and seconded by Magistrate Eldridge to adjourn the meeting. Motion carried unanimously, and the meeting was adjourned at 3:09 p.m.
You've heard the reading of our minutes from April 18th. Is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
Are any corrections?
I have one correction, Judge. Sir? The burn ban actually starts May the 1st.
May the 1st, all right. That was yesterday.
October 1st.
All right, and any further comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. I believe Kevin Nuss will be here later, and we'll address the burn ban a little further at that point in relation to the storm and tornado activity we had in Oldham County. There are some exceptions to that now because of the storm and the amount of material that came down from the trees and so forth. So Kevin will address that later. I don't want to say anything incorrect right now, but I do know there are, maybe he's here now. Kevin, short notice, I'm going to ask you to come up. We just mentioned the burn ban being in effect, so would you please, for our people in the courtroom here today and our audience at home, tell us how the burn ban is affected by the storm?
Okay, yes, the burn ban went into effect yesterday, May the 1st, and it expires on September 30th of this year. It's an annual ban. It's not a county ban, it's a statewide, or it's a state ban from the Environmental Cabinet due to ozone levels in the county and other counties surrounding us. I talked to the Environmental Cabinet yesterday and this morning, and they, because the ban is in effect, the only way they could give an exemption would be to us as a county government is if we declared an emergency for the storm that we had over in Goshen, which at this time there's really no need to declare for an emergency over there. But if we did declare for an emergency, we could burn the debris that the county picks up or the state picks up, but that has to be at a predetermined site that they approve, and it has to be county government doing the burning. So they cannot give an exemption to a homeowner during this burn ban. So If we were to get an exemption, it would be for the county only, and we would be doing the burning ourselves. But at this point, I don't believe that's going to be necessary because we've talked to the state reformatory, and we have a place where we are taking stuff now as a dump site, and we will hold it there in a staging area until the fall, and then we'll burn it this fall. And they're perfectly fine with that, and state and county road departments are already starting to take stuff over there.
Right. We started yesterday picking up things that are put along the right-of-way in the subdivisions, particularly in the Goshen Prospect area, and we're trying to pick up as much debris as we can. We'll take it to the prison. It may take 2 or 3 weeks to get around to everyone because we have other jobs we're doing in addition to trying to accommodate this function. But many people have asked for help, and we can't go on your property as such and do tree work, but we will pick up things that are along the right-of-way.
Yes, Wes Williams and Andy Hall and myself rode through the area today a little bit, doing some more surveying and looking along 42 and the subdivisions around the Goshen area, and people are starting to get stuff up to the curb. So Wes is trying to get a good handle on it, and obviously the state is responsible for the state roads, and they've got crews coming in from out of county to help them. And they're doing a pretty good job along 42. They're making good progress.
All right. Thank you, Kevin.
Okay.
I might add at this point that the Creasy Mahan Nature Preserve was really hit very hard, lost a significant number of trees, many of which were along roadways leading through to the entrance and inside the park. Essentially, probably hundreds of years and trees came down. Many were just ripped up by the roots, and so Creasy Mahan is asking for all the help that anyone is willing to provide. If you're able to help, please contact Creasy Mahan. They're very appreciative of anybody who will come forward to help in any way here at this point. Now let's move on to public comment here, the time during our meeting when anyone who would like to address the fiscal court is able to do so. I know we have one guest here today from Frankfort, and I'd like to invite Sam McCowan to come up and say hello to the court. Sam is from the Department of Local Government and is interested in assisting us and has been here before to visit with me and other members of the court. So welcome, Sam.
Thank you, Judge. I will be brief. But as the judge mentioned, I am the field representative for the governor with the Department for Local Government. My role is to be a resource, is to facilitate any contact or any assistance you as a court or the judge or any local community leaders need with state government. So not only at the Department for Local Government, which is where my position is housed under Commissioner Donahue, I also can facilitate with the state at large. So if you all have any issues that come up or just would like to meet with me to chat about any issues or anything that you're dealing with in your specific districts, I will be in the corner after the meeting if you would like to chat. And you can always feel free to reach out to me. I know the judge in his office has my information and my cell phone number if you all need anything. So thank you for having me.
Anybody have any questions they'd like to ask Sam at this point? Department for Local Government's been very aggressive in reaching out to communities since the new administration came into being, and we appreciate that and look forward to working with you in the future here.
Thank you very much. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sam. We had the next two items on the agenda were bid openings. We have some damage at the senior center in the roof, and we also have had some damage to one of the brick walls on our plaza that was involved in an unexpected auto accident. Of course, all accidents are unexpected. That's why they're called accidents. But anyway, we were not able to get bids for those two pieces of work. We'll continue to try to solicit the bids or find a contractor that'll be able to do it. Magistrate Greenwell.
Thank you, Judge. Usually we solicit bids when we think it's going to be over $20,000. Is the courthouse square, is that work extensive enough that it's over $20,000?
Apparently so.
Okay.
I think we had been shocked a little bit by the number that came in initially from a contractor that wasn't involved in bidding, and so it's going to be higher than we think, but it is covered by insurance.
Right.
The person that hit the brick wall has insurance, and so we expect it to go to the company. So hope we can get that solved, because we do have Arts on the Green coming up, and it certainly don't need it to look as it does when Arts on the Green happens in just a month, and have other events coming as well. So we'd like to find someone who can do that work. Apparently, it's a little more skilled than some contractors may feel comfortable moving into. All right, now we'll go on to county administration here. We pay our bills now, and if you're ready, we'll take a motion to pay the bills.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
All right. Next item here is the surplus property. Melissa Horn.
You have a list of surplus property in your binders. There are 6 pieces of equipment that we're asking to surplus: chairs from the community center, a copier from planning and development, a mower from the road department, a plotter from planning and development, the sound system from the aquatic center, and a tractor from maintenance. There's also 9 vehicles that we would like to surplus. A 1999 Dodge pickup from maintenance, 2001 GMC dump truck from the road department, 2001 Ford Taurus from Parks and Rec, a 2003 Ford van that was being used by the senior center. This vehicle we'd already junked the title because we couldn't find it several years ago. So we'd like to surplus that, or actually auction that for salvage. There's a 2003 Jeep Liberty, which is a forfeiture to the police department, a 2010 Ford Explorer from the sheriff's department, the 1998 Ford van from the sheriff's office, a 2005 Dodge Durango from emergency management, and a 2007 Dodge Nitro, also from emergency management.
All right. I'd like to make a motion that these items be surplus.
Second?
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Now we will move along to the first reading of a zoning map amendment at the 10,500 West Highway 42 in Goshen. Amy Albee, please.
Yeah. Good afternoon. This is just your first reading, so this is just the informal part of just reading it into the record of, this is a zoning map amendment for approximately 7.96 acres at 10500 West Highway 42. This is the Hermitage property. They are looking to rezone a part of their farm from AG1 CO an Agriculture and Conservation District to C1 Commercial. They are proposing to have a restaurant and a bourbon experience. They are also going to do some modifications to their equine experience, I guess you would say, on the farm, but that currently is already a permitted use, which does not require a zoning change. It was recommended for approval for the zoning change from the Planning Commission, but again, this is just formality. This is the first reading, and we'll do a formal presentation at the May 16th hearing. So that's, the ordinance is KOC, ordinance number 17-920-374. So I don't know if we want to read any of that into the record, or?
Well,
What you
I
would
think
prefer?
we'll just read an ordinance relating to a change in the Oldham County zoning map, rezoning .796 acre tract located at 10,500 West Highway 42 Goshen. What did I say?
7.96.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have my glasses here. .796. No, excuse me, 7.96. I said it again. From existing AG1 agriculture and the CO1 conservation zoning to C1 commercial as a local business district zoning classification. And this is the Hermitage Farm
Yes.
property that they intend to put something on. Did you want to explain about that?
Sure,
Okay.
yes. Again, they're looking at doing a restaurant, and they will actually, the upstairs portion of the restaurant will have a gathering area or party room, I guess you would say, for larger events. And then they're also going to do more of a seed to sip type of experience for bourbon. And so the three things that they're food, bourbon, and horses for Kentucky. So, but again, the applicant will be here at the second reading, which will be the public hearing, to give a formal presentation, as will I.
All right. Anybody have any questions for Amy?
I do, Judge.
Magistrate Likens.
Amy, could you bring us a map showing us where this 7.96 acres is in relationship to?
Yeah, I mean, I can show you that now if you would like.
Lane?
And I'll give you all the planning
our
commission packet that the planning commissioners got as well. For that, there was a traffic study and everything else that was done. So this is the current farm entrance off of Highway 42 right here that comes in. They will use a second entrance off of Highway 42 that will be solely for the restaurant and the bourbon experience. They will not use the existing farm drive. The original plan had shown an entrance and exit onto South Buckeye Lane, which is no longer part of the plan, so they will all enter and exit off of this proposed. It's actually, there's a gate and a gravel entrance there now that they used for one of their equestrian activities that they have in the fall, I believe, spring or fall. So they will all go out there. And if you go past the property on 42, that's where the zoning change sign is right at the proposed entrance area.
And that's 1694 over on the right
This
side.
is
and
1694
Shallow
on
Lane.
this side, yes, sir. South Buckeye, 42. But I'll prepare everything and it'll be in your packets for the next meeting.
Where's the, where's it at?
On the actual, if you come in this way, it's all right here at this location. This is kind of a detailed overview of it. So they will come in and enter from here, loop around. This is their parking area. This is the restaurant. And then these are some buildings that they are converting into an existing barn and maintenance shed that will become the bourbon experience. And then this is the restaurant and reception hall here. The existing farmhouse is over here. You can see the circle driveway there. So the existing farmhouse is there that they use for weddings.
Okay, so 42 is at the top of the screen?
Yes, sir. 42 is up here.
Will you be able to see the new buildings from 42? Are they down below the bluff?
No, sir.
No, sir.
You will not be able to see those.
All right, thank you.
All right, anyone else? All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
This will be coming up on, what, June,
May the 16th.
May 16th?
Yeah, this was just the first reading, and again, we'll have formal presentations with pictures and everything else at the May 16th.
May 16th, okay. Now we have The under contract agreements and resolutions, memorandum of agreement regarding the Curry's Fork Watershed Grant. Magistrate Eldridge.
Thank you, Judge. We have Jen Shane with us today, but basically what this is a watershed grant. We had given her authorization to apply for this. We have received it. We just need a vote today coming out of the Utilities Committee for a acceptance of the grant and to let you sign this document to do so.
All right, you make a motion.
That is the motion, correct?
Second.
Moved and seconded that be allowed to sign this grant application for extension of the Curry's Fork Watershed project. Is there any discussion on that?
Does this have a match? Is this a grant?
Does have a match.
Pardon?
It does have a match. Ms. Shane, you want to come forward and explain that?
Hi, I'm Jen Shane. I'm the Curry's Fork Watershed Coordinator for the county. The match is the same percentage of match that it's always been, the 40%. Because the grant's higher, the match is of course a little higher this time. Oh, it's up there. This is kind of some of the detail of the match, but none of the match will come out of pocket from the county, other than what would already be spent. Like, for example, some of the county engineer's time we will count as match. A big portion, about $80,000, is going to be not even dealt with really from the county. It's going to come from agriculture, cost share, water quality. Somewhere in the state, doesn't even have to be in the county. And we're going to be able to count that as match, and the Division of Water is going to be handling that completely. So then other salary and fringe from county personnel, when people come to our events, we're able to count some of their time as match. The health department is a main partner on this because a big portion is from septic. We're dealing with septic systems, and so their time we're able to count as match. We have sort of built in a cushion in case there's some unforeseen reason why we weren't able to get all of the match that we needed. So, for example, the public service announcements that we air that are geared towards water quality, we're able to count that airtime as match. We're only including one, we only need one of those years. This is a 3-year grant, so if we need the other 2 years, that would be another $40,000 that we can count. This is more, what I'm showing you right now is just more information. This is kind of our internal budget of where we're coming up with that match, our plan for the match. So the homeowner contributions is another $50,000 on the septic. Let's see what else is on here. Indirect, we have indirect for all of the personnel, county personnel. So we have more than enough. We have cushion, a big cushion built in so that we won't, be in a bind in any way. We also have additional state water quality ag cost share money that we can use if we need to.
Magistrate, that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Are there any other questions?
Yes, Judge.
Go ahead,
At the end
Magistrate
of the
Tice.
day, out of the study, what will we gain or achieve?
It's not a study. The study part was creating the watershed plan. That's done. We wanted to know what we had and what the recommendations were, so that's what the watershed plan did, and that's done. And now we're in implementation mode. We're saying, okay, we figured out the problem, came up with solutions in all of public meetings and technical meetings, and we're just kind of going down that list of what needs to be done based on the highest priorities, first. So one of the things that came out was in older neighborhoods where we had water quality issues with pathogens, where we had essentially, fecal matter in the water. The committees basically decided, based on the data, that one thing we could do was in aging neighborhoods where maybe it was the original septic system put in, 30, 40, 50 years ago, many of those are still the systems that are in place, and they are likely leaking into our water. And so often that's very expensive to replace, and people just don't have the money. Ultimately, we'd like everyone to have a savings account for that. If they were on sewer, you'd be paying that every month. Theoretically, you should kind of be paying into that savings, every month if you're on septic for the ultimate day when you need to replace your system. But the reality is that's not happening for everybody, or they're not able to do that. So this is a cost share program to help people that are in that situation to get a new system with they're paying a portion, and then we're helping them some. But it's to help deal with those kind of situations in older neighborhoods where they probably are leaking into the creek.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to go ahead and allow me to apply for this grant. Hearing no further questions, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Next item here is the commercial mobile radio service grant request, and we'll ask Kevin Nuss, our dispatch and EMS director, or EMA director, or is it
Dispatch right now.
Well, you're dispatch now, and you're emergency. You're not EMS. You're
Emergency management.
management, right?
Thank you. I appreciate your time. What you have before you is a grant request from what they used to be called the CMRS Board, or now the Kentucky 911 Services Board. That's the official name of the grant request now. Because we're moving to the 800 radio system later this year, we have to buy a new logging recorder that interfaces with MetroSafe's equipment. They currently use a NICE, N-I-C-E recording system, and all their radio recordings are housed on that server at MetroSafe. So for us to be able to access those recordings, which we have to have those recordings, we have to have a new new logging recorder put in. This will also, in addition to record our radio lines, they'll also record our telephone lines, but we'll have remote access from dispatch to be able to access those recordings. This is a budgeted item that I told you all about back in November when you signed the MOU and the agreement to move forward with the radio system. This grant opportunity came up, and simply I'm just trying to save some money by applying for the grant and getting it paid for mostly out of the grant instead of having to use our own funds to pay for it.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion that you sign this.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded that I be allowed to sign this grant application for the new telephone and radio logging recorder to integrate with MetroSafe. Does this mean, for example, that all of our traffic in Oldham County, even though it may not involve Jefferson County, is still going to be recorded at MetroSafe?
The phone lines can still be recorded out here because we have ended phone lines here from AT&T, but we don't have any end lines from the radio system. So it will be recorded, but we have to buy the additional licenses, and it will be on a separate section of the server. So it won't be intermingled with radio, with MetroSafe or Metro Communications. They won't be able to access it. It'll just be for us, but it'll be housed on their recorder, on their server, yes.
Okay. And then who takes care of the maintenance on that?
Applied Digital Solutions is their vendor, and they maintain it for them. And they're our vendor currently for the system we have now, but we have to, because we have to interface with their recording system, we have to move to that recorder. And we knew that going into it.
Are we still going to be recording on our own equipment here then as well, or will we discontinue that?
We will have a server here that will access the server in Metro, but the recordings will actually reside on the server down at Metro, and we will access them through the fiber line we already have in connection with MetroSafe.
Okay, so, but we can access without any type of permission?
Oh,
or,
yes, we will have logins.
So forth.
Yes.
I mean, it's just, we're essentially housing our recording system in another county.
Yes.
But we have complete
Yes.
access to it, doesn't matter, it's out in the
Yes.
cloud somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's not in the cloud, it's down at
Right,
their
but
server, but yes.
Just use that as an example.
Didn't I read somewhere, Kevin, where it's a $4,000 maintenance fee a year or something?
Yes, we have a maintenance contract on on our recording system now. We will have a maintenance contract on the new system with Applied Digital.
What's the difference in what we're paying now and what we will be paying?
I think our recording system now is about, it's about $2,700.
So $1,400 more dollars.
Measure Greenwell.
Thank you. Kevin, I notice here it says landline surcharge of $2. Is that a new charge?
No, that's our current monthly.
It's already?
Yes.
Okay.
Anyone else? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I have a question for
Oops.
Kevin. Kevin, when do you foresee the new radio system taking place?
We are having weekly conference calls with Motorola. We have those every Wednesday morning with their engineers, and they are still working on, they have to do the upgrade to the MetroSafe system before we can actually go live. They have stopped all work in Metro right now because of the Derby, and they don't want them working on the radio system during this time frame. So the last conference call we had, which was last Wednesday, we are still in the September-October timeframe to go live with the radio system.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Under contracts, agreements, and resolutions, we have item F, that's the Spring Hill Sidewalk Project. Magistrate Dye.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Demas from Planning and Development's coming up, and she can enlighten us on how this project is going. And when she's done, I'll make a motion.
This is an agreement with URS for Phase 2 design of the Spring Hill Trace Sidewalk Project. The agreement is in the amount of $54,455.30. It's to be paid for with federal funds previously approved by Fiscal Court, with the required match being paid by the City of Crestwood. The work under the agreement will include survey of the project area, utility coordination, right-of-way plans and coordination, final plan set, bid packet, and any necessary meetings they need to attend to accomplish all of those things. KYTC has approved the hours per task and the cost per hour. So
For those of you all that don't remember, this is a sidewalk. It runs from 329 through Spring Hill on one side of the road up to the bridge, which crosses over into Brentwood. On the map behind us there.
Yeah, the sidewalk's mainly going to be on the south side.
Yeah.
But there will be two crossings.
Yeah. So I'd like to make a motion that the court allow the judge to sign this document.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion now. Magistrate Greenwell.
Belinda, is this likely to interfere, I don't know when this, what's the completion date for this?
Hopefully sometime next calendar year in 18.
And then we've got the intersection deal with URS also, I think, realignment.
That's not URS, that's QK4. But
Okay.
we don't think it's really going to
Is there going to be
interfere,
any interference? I mean, the last thing we want to do is be pouring sidewalks.
No, I agree. And no, I don't believe there will be, no.
Okay, all right.
Magistrate Likens.
Belinda, what did Phase 1 cost? Do you know on this?
I think it was, I don't have the exact number. I know we have about 75,000. I think we spent about 20,000 on Phase 1. Just coming up with the alignment, doing the preliminary engineering, looking at all of the, basically looking at the topography and possible utility problems, and having a public meeting and determining alignment.
I have a hard time approving this because I can bill these for what you've spent on engineering. I don't understand the federal government when it comes to spending money. I can build sidewalk all day long for $5 a square foot. This is 13,000 square feet, $65,000. If you want me to contract it, I can.
We had, before we even got into this project, the city of Crestwood actually hired an engineer to give us an estimate, and I think it was more in the area of 300,000. You also got to remember there's pipe under driveways, there's a little bit of right-of-way acquisition, there's some tree removal, tree replanting, so there's a lot more parts of this. But we did have this discussion at a Crestwood City Council meeting a while back, and the same issue was brought up. The bottom line is that the amount of money that we're spending going through all this is still less than what it would cost if they were going to build it themselves. So their matching money is actually less. We're also doing traffic calming. You know, we're talking about stop signs. There's a lot more than just the sidewalks in this project.
Yeah, a big part of the project is to a lot of the driveways, you have to make it ADA compliant. And making that work has also been a big part of it when you're dealing with the existing driveways and the slopes and angles of the driveways, and then dealing with the pipes.
I understand that you can't have over an inch rise per foot, and you can't have over a quarter-inch fall left or right. I mean, I build sidewalks on my projects, and they don't cost what this engineering cost.
Well, again, when you do that, you've already prepared the site and you're actually adding sidewalks in. But again, the reality is this is complicated by drainage and crosswalks and stop signs and tree removal, and so it's not just the construction of the sidewalk.
Magistrate Greenwell.
Are the sidewalks over on the Brentwood side, are they ADA compliant?
Well, they are as best as they can be. I know there's when you go across the creek, the sidewalk is on a fairly steep incline, and ADA compliance is they'd rather have a sidewalk that's non-compliant than no sidewalk at all. So the parts of it that are on steep slopes are not compliant, but they do have handicap curb cuts.
Because, I mean, the slope, I guess, would be a little bit more on the Spring Hill side, but not a lot.
It's going to be pretty steep.
Yeah.
But you still have to try to find flat spots for resting, and sometimes you do that in the driveways.
Okay.
Magistrate Tice.
I believe that Crestwood is paying the match.
They are.
And I assume that they're on board and they understand everything, so we're being supportive of them by doing this RFP or going forward with the grant.
Yeah, they've passed a resolution authorizing the matching funds.
Right. And we're just a pass-through because they're not a local planning agency, Fiscal Court is, so we couldn't get in a contract with the city directly, so our contract is with Fiscal Court, and we are fronting the money, but City of Crestwood is reimbursing their 20%. And then Transportation Cabinet's giving us the rest.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. I think we've had a motion in the second. No further discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. Next item here has to do with the Apple Patch Park and Ride Grant. Magistrate Dye.
Thank you, Judge. Belinda, could you bring us up to date on this document today that we need the judge to sign? Is basically an extension.
Yes, sir. This is an amendment to our agreement with the Transportation Cabinet to extend our original agreement through June 30th, 2018, and it does not affect any other terms of the existing agreement. No changes to anything other than making it valid for another calendar year.
And I'd make a motion to ask the court allow the judge to sign this document to extend the project one more year.
Second.
Moved and seconded that the Park and Ride program be extended for an additional year. Any discussion about that? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Now we're on to some paperwork we need to take care of. This has to do with Apple Patch and the grant documents. These are basically state requirements that have come down through the federal government, the requirements that have come down from the state. One way or another, they're coming from out of town, and they ask us to apply to all kinds of rules. And I'll ask Melissa Horn, County Treasurer, to explain them.
Okay, as Judge said, this is for the Apple Patch Adult Day Facility and the Community Development Block Grant. The first one is an agreement about anti-displacement and a relocation assistance plan. We are required to sign this, and there is a note at the bottom that says there are no relocations as a result of this project, but we still must sign it.
All right, motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you.
The second one is a fair housing resolution saying that we will agree to the Fair Housing Amendment Act of 1988.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Third agreement is a statement of assurance dealing with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And the final one today is a resolution authorizing that fiscal court shall bear any and all cost overruns regarding the Apple Patch Day Center project.
Might add that we do have an agreement with Apple Patch that Apple Patch is going to cover, reimburse us if we
Correct.
have to pay any overruns.
We got a signed document on that?
We've already done that one, sir.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, now we're down to the, some add-ons that we had here at the beginning of the meeting. First one, I'll call on Magistrate Greenwell.
Thank you, Judge. The road committee met today and decided to award the bid for the road salt. The lowest bid was Morningstar, a company out of Florida. We've not dealt with them before, but it was a more than $2 a ton difference, and we decided to give them a chance. They will have to be looked into, investigated about the Secretary of State and all that. So we have a contingency in case that were to fall through, and Detroit Salt would get the bid. They were number 2 at $81.49. Morningstar's bid was $79.35. So if Morningstar were to fall through, Detroit Salt would get the bid. So I'm making a motion that we approve those bids.
Second.
All right. Moved and seconded that we give our salt bid to Morningstar, assuming they meet all state requirements
Correct.
to do business with us. If not, then we'll move on to Detroit Salt. Is there any discussion on that?
Just real quick, Judge, Detroit Salt is who supplied the salt this past winter. And if we were to have another mild winter, which is unlikely, we still don't have to take a minimum or anything like that. We just pay for what we use.
Any other discussion? All right. Does everybody agree to that? Please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. The next item that we were going to deal with here has to do with Railroad Avenue. And did you bring that up?
I did.
again? Okay.
We discussed this also in road committee today, and we had some magistrates ask that if we would provide, or if we would vote to provide funding up to a certain amount, along with the city of Crestwood, to try to alleviate the situation down there where semi-trailers get stuck on the railroad tracks. We agreed that we would spend, with the court's approval, up to $2,500 for the county's part, and the city of Crestwood would match that for a maximum of $5,000. I truly hope this helps the situation. I believe it will help it. Whether it will eliminate it, I don't know, but if we can just stop a certain percentage of it, and hopefully all of it, then it'll be worth it.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we allocate up to $2,500 for signage at new signage at Railroad Avenue in Crestwood to help eliminate or reduce the number of trucks, large trucks, box trucks, flatbed trucks that get caught on the railroad track there. Happens very frequently, and we've been fortunate not to have someone seriously injured, but there have been a couple of instances where the trains have stopped within just 100 feet or so of crashing into a vehicle stuck on the track. So we're trying to address this as best we can. Any other discussion on it? All in favor, please say aye. Yes, sir. Sorry.
One question. What is the plan of attack on the signage? Where is it going to be and kind of, or have you all determined exactly what you want to do yet?
I'm not familiar with the whole setup, but the size of the signs that they're gonna put up are 4 feet by 8 feet, a sheet of plywood size. And then also a 4x4. And on top of that, they're gonna be lit with solar lighting, so that they're on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So hopefully that will eliminate.
Flashing lights.
Yes.
Is that going to
Flashing
be
lights.
is that going to be at the light there, 146?
Yes, there'll be, the signs that are put up, the 4x8 and the 4x4s will all have flashing illuminated lights on them.
Scott, our county engineer is here. I think he has artistic representation of what it
Thank you, Judge.
looked like.
Okay.
Oops, you might have to leave that light on.
Says it's on.
Oops, wrong way.
This is the rendering of the sign. That's the 4x8 sign.
We're putting that sign on the other side.
Also here.
That's on 146.
Right,
Right there.
no,
Another one.
no.
That's on the low side, going up.
And the low
We're not
side.
putting them on,
From
we're
each
putting them on the
direction.
22 side.
We're
Putting
not,
4 of them in, one in from each direction. That's what the encroachment permit reads. One from each direction.
Okay. but
And
that's-
we're putting flashing lights on them that are solar powered with battery
well, I
backup.
think what they meet on one direction is one coming from the north.
There's
Gonna be two over there.
two off 146 and 2 off of 22.
Are we not putting the 4x4s up then? So the two 4x8s? 'Cause
So
originally I
2
thought
are
we were talking
4x8s
about
and
the
2 are
4x8.
4x4s.
Okay, but we don't have issue with the trucks going from LaGrange Road that direction. The issue is them coming from 22 over to 146. So
Yeah.
putting them on the other side is not going to get us anywhere.
Not gonna get us anything?
Well, they're not coming from the Pee Wee Valley side of
Oh, yeah.
146.
Oh, yeah. Yes, they are. Where they're not coming from is the Crestwood Elementary direction.
That's what I mean, right.
But from Pee Wee Valley, they're coming up 146, trying to take a left, and they're coming on 22 into that intersection over, from
Okay.
wherever they're coming from on that
We're
side.
also putting the flashing lights on the existing 13 signs that are already there that advertise low boys don't cross. So,
Are we putting them up on the fence like we talked about, or are we putting them up on the right-of-way section by the gas station?
depends on on the direction you're talking about.
From 22?
In front of the gas station, we'll go one. On the fence, after you make the left, onto 326 will be another one. Or 329 will be another one.
There should be one on the fence there in front of Caldwell Banker. But
Right.
there should also be two smaller units on either side of 22 as you're coming in there. Is I believe that's what we wanted, wasn't it?
That's not the
I think
way,
we-
that's
I
not
think
the
we
way the
put the
pictures show.
4x4s, I think we put the 4x4s up. I don't know if you're having the 4x8 sign. I don't know if you're gonna have enough room to put that where it's gonna be visible. That's why we were talking about the 4x4 signs. The only 4x8 sign, if I remember right, when we were there, was the one that was gonna go on the fence. And the one and the gas station, right?
These are the pictures that I received from the deputy judge after our meeting, and these are the pictures that were priced by our road department.
Okay.
We'll get it worked out. We're going to get some signage there to alert anybody that's coming in there that there's a problem if you try to drag a flatbed or a box truck over that railroad track. So I think, Manager Greenwell?
Judge, with all those flashing lights, I just would like to have the sunglasses concession, because it's going to be like 4th and Broadway down there.
Well, I hope it won't be quite that bright, but at least enough to get the attention of truckers. Now, here comes John. I think he wants to add, let's say, clarify the
I was
confusion.
watching it on a monitor. What the state is permitting is this. As you're coming down 146 towards Railroad Avenue, we determined that a lot of trucks are coming from Treehouse, Conagra, and Buckner to get to a plant on Westport Road. So as you come down 146, you have this old marathon station sitting there. So we're going to place a 4x8 right there to get their attention immediately, with flashing solar lights on top of those. As you make a left to go up into Railroad Avenue, the second 4x8 will be on Mike Mahan's fence, above his fence, or we call it Mike Mahan. It's really a city lot, with another 4x8 depicting a tractor and trailer with a box on it with flashing lights again. So now, if the first 4x8 didn't get their attention, maybe the second one will. However, after you pass the first one on your right, there's a grassy median there that we're going to put a 4x4 with danger, lesser impact, but once again, another reminder as you turn into the curve to your right. So that will be the 3 signs that we will make ourselves, showing the tractor and trailer with some wording, with solar. The state highway signs, which show a lowboy trailer behind the tractor, they, at this time, will not let us do anything with those because those are state highway approved, and they say there's no changing of those signs, certainly at this moment. They have to stay as a lowboy type of trailer. As far as the 146 side across the railroad tracks, in this initial plan, we have chosen to do nothing over there, other than maybe go with our solar lights on the presently established state highway signs over on that highway. Isn't that correct, Chris? That's the way I remember us discussing this, okay?
Right, because we decided that coming from Crestwood Elementary side, they're not making the turn.
Right.
The right-hand turn to go up Railroad Avenue.
But what we will try to do with permission is put a solar light on those state highway signs to at least try to grab their attention over there, but nothing other than that in terms of what we will be making, is the way I understand it, on that side of the highway.
Right, and I think the gentleman behind you is going to have issue with that, and the reason is...
Who's that behind me?
Scott.
Oh, him?
The reason I say that...
We don't worry about him.
No, the issue, but I think, though, we're taking care of the crossing going from Crestwood over into, crossing from LaGrange Road over to, or 22 over to LaGrange Road. Coming from, on the 146 side, we're not changing any of the signage today.
Right.
Right. But what we may want to do is put 2 of the 4x4s on either direction. Because that way, we've got all directions of that crossing with our new signage that says, don't drive your 53-foot box truck over top the railroad. In case somebody comes from Pee Wee Valley and crosses over the railroad track.
Are you saying put 2 4x4s over on that side of the railroad track? But we didn't discuss that in our preliminary. We said, what will this do for us first? We didn't go across the railroad tracks and do any 4x8 signs when we were down there.
Let's leave it the way it is right now, and we'll...
And we can add that to it if we can find an appropriate place to put them without blocking railroad sight distance and with a 4x8 sign there, thus obstructing people's view.
I was saying the 4x4, but you're right. We're probably going to obstruct the train and car traffic.
From that side of the railroad track.
Side of the railroad tracks.
Does that take care of it?
For right now, this is going to be our best stab.
Ashley Eldridge.
Judge, I don't mind at all spending this $2,500, but I don't want to spend 25 cents if we're not properly permitted. Do we have the permits for what Chris and John are speaking?
I met Jason Richardson there last week and a half ago. I've given those permits to Scott to fill out as county engineer and submit those back to Jason Richardson, who came out there at Matt Bullock's direction to help us alleviate this situation. So have they approved them, signed off at this moment? No, because Scott had them in his possession today, and I doubt that they're there yet. No. But he had filled them out.
They were signed right before this meeting.
Okay.
Be done before we spend any money.
We didn't want to put any signs up until we got Matt's permission, state's permission.
All right, made a little sausage there, but, you know, I think we're going to get it. The main thing we're concerned about is not having someone hurt there, and I think we're taking some steps in the right direction.
Judge,
Pardon? All right,
Judge,
so,
one more thing to add to that. I would like to ask if your office could write a letter and we send it to the people at Treehouse and ask them for the people that are doing the contract trucking there. Because we believe, when we were talking about it in the road committee and also on the fire side, that if we get the word out to those folks, if they can send out a memo, whatever form of communication that they use, to direct the truckers not to use that intersection, because the ones that we've stopped and we've asked, they're following, for lack of a better term, the path of least resistance to get to where they have to go, because either 71 is closed or whatever the reason is. I know that Jim's working on getting the road declassified. That's going to be a huge piece, but if you buy a Garmin tomorrow at Walmart, you may or may not update it for the next 5 years. That's not going to do us any good.
right. We will work with them and find out exactly how to help their truck traffic understand how to get from Buckner to probably down to Westport Road.
Yep.
I think is where they're going. And the GPS is taking them over the tracks, and they really need to turn at McDonald's there on Veterans Parkway and go up to 22 that way, or up to 146.
That'd be a better road.
Judge and Magistrate Hounds, I have in the next week or so, we'll have a meeting with Treehouse related to their signs in Buckner and directing inbound trucks to either go to, if they're bringing in product or going to shipping and receiving. In that meeting, I'll make sure and bring this up.
Thank you.
How about, Jim, I'll just put a little more work on you here and ask you to give Alan Orth or whoever is coming a one-page map, and they could make duplicates of it and give it to the truckers when they leave there and say, if you're going from here to there, here is exactly the route to follow, don't deviate.
Yeah, they do go through a guard shack, so
Yeah,
I'm sure we
so
can.
it should be easy enough to hand it to
Just
them.
like trucks coming back the other direction as well, sure.
Right, but there's other people besides Treehouse that
Oh,
come
yeah.
through here, and, you know,
Oh, yeah.
so we have to cover everybody. All right, I think we've got a motion on Measure Die.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that we've been able to identify some of the people that are not going the most prudent route. Now, my question today is, after we put all these signs in, and I too would like to have the sunglass franchise on my side of the road, if you don't mind, Magistrate Greenwell. If this doesn't work, what's the next step? I mean, we keep throwing all this, I mean, we put a lot of time and effort into trying to make this safer. At what point in time are we gonna cry uncle? And what can we do next?
I don't ever want to cry uncle. If this doesn't work, we'll do something else. You don't
Okay,
give up.
that's what I'm asking.
Well, along with the reclassification of 329 and that makes it into a local road, and you passed a resolution, the city of Crestwood did as well, and we passed that along to Transportation Cabinet. The mayor of Crestwood, we've talked about whether or not the highway department would actually relinquish ownership of that part between 22 and 146 called Railroad Avenue to the city of Crestwood. And there was some concern about liability, but if we could work those issues out, then city of Crestwood would be in control of that roadway. So if there was an incident on I-71, as an example, they could potentially barricade the road off so that trucks won't be able to go that way. And again, that's when it's being redirected because of an incident on 71. So there are a lot of other things to do, next steps, if you will, other than completely shutting the road down, which in discussions with the mayor while we were standing out there, a group of us, he wasn't in favor of actually closing that road altogether.
The next step could possibly be the very first idea that was brought forward here, and that is a bar over the road that would block semis from going through there. But that was brought up here several months ago. I think the discussion was that it might be too expensive for the county government to put something on the state highway. Why were we doing it? So we went a different route
And
that's
plus,
a lot less
it wouldn't
expensive.
stop low boys.
Pardon?
They wouldn't stop a low boy.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Well, the hope, I know that Kevin Nuss is working on getting a commodity flow study. Once we get the commodity flow study, what that's gonna show us is what's running down the railroad. It's not gonna tell you the time of day, but it's gonna tell you how many of a substance is running down the railroad. And that may give us more ammunition to go to the railroad and go to the state to say, here's what's running down the railroad. You've got approximately 1,200 students within a half a mile of the crossing. Let's do something about it, but we've got to get that data, that ammunition, before we can look at maybe some of those next steps.
okay, well, I think the bottom line here is we're trying to do something before someone gets seriously injured there. And I wish that the District 5 would take it and fix it, but they for whatever reason, haven't picked it up as aggressively as we feel it needs to be addressed, so. All right, any further discussion? Magistrate Leslie.
Yeah, since we've got Magistrate Dye and Magistrate Greenwell wanting to have a sunglass shop here, let's play Shark Tank, and I'll take $50,000 and help you guys get set up.
Okay. All right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you.
That was for the 50,000?
All right, let's see here. I had one, and that was the AOC, and I'll find that. I think all of you have been given a piece of paper here that we added to the budget, added to the agenda. We're requesting $5,200 from the Administrative Office of the Courts to pay for a 80-ton air-conditioned rented chiller to go at the courthouse until we get the air conditioning problems fixed. Right now, only about, we've got one of two compressors is out over there, and the courthouse is getting only about half the air conditioning it should. I believe AOC is fine with going ahead and trying to get something done, but we can't guarantee how soon it's going to be completed or if it'll actually work when it's in there. So they've agreed to give this money to set up a temporary circumstance until a permanent resolution is determined. So is there a motion to allow me to sign this?
I'll make that motion, Judge. We took that up in committee and decided to recommend that we accept this $5,200. That's per month rental, and look into buying a new chiller that's around $60,000, but we're looking into those options.
All right. And-
I'll second it.
Okay, moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this?
But there's one thing else, that we're going to have a little bit of extra money to adapt all this with the lines, the coolant lines and the electricity and everything. So it's going to be a little over the 5,200, but we still need it.
Okay.
So everybody knows it.
All right. Well, state's paying for this, aren't they? Right.
I guess if they
Paying
are,
for the
then
rental.
they'll pay for the other two. That's great.
I believe they're paying for the rental, but we were unsure about the additional charge to get the hookup to happen.
All right. Well. All right, any other discussion on this? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. Thank you. We're down to personnel actions here now. Ms. Schaaf, Tina Schaaf.
Good afternoon. Before you is the list of seasonal aquatic center staff for this year. We have about 46 employees for the summer.
All right, Magistrate Logston. All right, motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. We hire these individuals here for lifeguards, assistants at the aquatic center, snack bar people, supervisor, intern. I won't read them all. Do I need to read them all? I
No.
don't think I do, so. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Now we have a couple of appointments here, board appointments. The Assessment and Appeals Board is about to swing into action again here. That board examines claims or objections from individuals who feel their property tax is too high, and they are able to come before the Board of Assessments and Appeals. I'd like to appoint two individuals here. We have two openings on that board. It's a 3-year term. You cannot be reappointed. So we have Iva Davis to a term to expire May 2nd, 2020, replacing George Chapman, and B.J. Senior for a term to expire May 2nd, 2020, to replace Matt Weaver.
I'd make a motion to accept both of those, please.
Second.
And seconded. Is there any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And Judge,
Opposed? Yes, sir.
I've had a couple of people ask me about these assessments. They've gone through and everybody's getting their new assessments right now. They do each quadrant 4 times, or the county's divided into 4 sections, and each year another section gets done. So you have from May 1st to I think May 15th to appeal your assessment if you do not like it. So I just want to make sure people get in there between that time frame. So I think May 15th is the cutoff date.
All right. Sure, no one likes it, but it's just, can you do better? Okay, also we have a term, I would like to reappoint Norman Brown to the Police Merit Board, and this would be a term to expire May 1st, 2021.
I'd like to make that motion, Judge.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on that?
I served on the fiscal court with Norman Brown. He's a fine individual.
Right. Right. He's been on the board here, prior term, so happy to reappoint him. All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Now we're down to our second public comment. Is there anyone who's come in who would like to address the fiscal court at this point? Seeing no one, I'm going to go on to other business now, and I believe Magistrate Leslie had a couple of requests to use the courthouse lawn.
Yes, sir. We have 2 requests. One is one that we get annually. They originally wanted June 1st, but I talked to the circuit court clerk, and they have over 100 cases on Thursday, the 1st. So we have agreed to allow them to use the courthouse lawn starting Friday, June 2nd at noon, and Saturday and Sunday, the 4th. And I'd like to make that motion that we allow the Arts on the Green to progress with their annual event.
I moved and seconded. I believe your resolution, you mentioned courthouse lawn, includes the parking lot as well, doesn't it?
It does.
Right. In discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. And do you have a final one?
Yes, sir, I do. This is from Noteworthy Creative Group, and they have dinner on Main Street, September 29th. They want to use Main Street for the day and the evening of the September 29th. And what they're doing is they're using this for Oldham County Education Foundation. And if we elect to allow them to use this date, I will call Karma Stahl and let her know that we have accepted this. Last year, they had approximately 250 people altogether, including staff, which was a very good turnout, I think, for a first meeting. And I would like us to go ahead and make that acceptance.
Second.
All right. Motion made that we allow the Noteworthy Creative to stage a scholarship dinner to generate money for the school, the scholarship program. That's September 29th, did you say?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any objections to that? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. All right, thank you. Okay.
That's all I had, Judge.
Okay. All right, I think we're at the end of our agenda for today. We're going to wind things up and thank our viewers at home and those who are here with us today. And let any magistrate who would like to make any final remarks do so. And let's start with Magistrate Logston.
Things. I just want to thank you and Executive Judge John Black, Second Command, for working on the project to get a red light there at 329 and 22. I know you ran on that on your campaign a couple terms ago, and the state's finally agreed to get it done. So hopefully by June and July, there'll be a red light between 22 and 329. So it'll alleviate all that traffic problem there. Traffic backs all the way back to the railroad sometimes, and it takes forever to get out. So I want to thank you for getting that pushed through.
You're welcome. Thank you. Magistrate Dye.
Nothing.
Magistrate Eldridge.
Thank you, Judge. Just want to thank the road department. They helped me with some issues on Maple Leaf. And also, I don't believe we have announced, do we have a date yet for the salvage auction? So the surplus auction will be on June 3rd. Thank you.
That's going to be at the Old Road Garage, across from the football stadium at Oldham County High School on Highway 393. Start at 9 o'clock, or is it 10? I guess we'll be open at 9, and you can start looking around. Okay. Magistrate Hounds.
Yes, Judge. Once again, this weekend with the heavy rains, we had water over the normal area on Ash Avenue. The fire department did have to rescue someone out of the water. There are signs posted, and we did have the State Highway Department come up and put road barricades up. But for some reason, people, I guess, wanted to take pictures. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it as well. They drove around the barricades. But the barricades are put up for the public safety, and we ask that people obey those barricades and look at the signs. And if there is water over the roadway, don't drive through it. It only takes 6 inches of water at 6 miles an hour to move a 6,000-pound vehicle.
Oh, it's dramatic. Magistrate Greenwell.
Thank you, Judge. Just in relation to the storm this past weekend, we may have lost some property, we may have lost a lot of time, but we didn't lose any lives or have any serious injuries, so thankful for that.
Magistrate Leslie.
Nothing, sir.
Magistrate Tice.
Just a little information down at Buckner on 393 South. The state has kind of rerouted the road a little bit, and the intersection there at Commerce Parkway. And 393 is improved. Now you've eliminated the kind of hidden view, so it's a lot better. It's Derby weekend, and we need to be careful out there. So other than that, that's all I've got. Thank you.
Magistrate Likens.
Thank you, Judge. I just wanted to mention to the Fiscal Court that a couple of years ago, we heard a presentation from the Perfection Group on energy conservation, and we heard from them again today in the Building and Maintenance Committee, and we voted to go forward with the RFQ for energy conservation measures that are in all of the county buildings. And I'd like to also thank the judge for cooperating with the Class 1 tornado that we did have in Goshen, especially at the Creasy Mahan Center. It knocked a lot of trees down, and I'm sure Class 1 is not very dangerous unless it's on top of you. So it kind of a very small spot, but knocked down a lot of trees. And just want to wish everyone good luck in their Derby jackpots.
All right. I can't help but wonder if you're having a delayed St. Patrick's Day today.
This is what I wear every year for Derby.
Oh, is that right? Okay, good. Well, those are your silks, I guess. County Attorney John Carter, do you have any comments you'd like to make today?
Nothing, Judge.
All right, thank you. I'll just repeat a little bit of what Magistrate Likens just said and what I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting. There was a lot of damage to the Creasy Mahan Nature Park. If you're able to help, you have a chainsaw, truck, anything that willing body to get out there and do something, contact Tavia Cathcart at Creasy Mahan. They'd be very happy to have your help, and there is quite a bit of work to be done there. It's going to take a while, so anyone who can volunteer will be very much appreciated. Is there a motion to adjourn? Second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Why is it with J?
Make it a little easier for us.
Why is it with JD's not here, we get out an hour early every time?
Here's the question.
Yeah, sir.
46.